Hello, everybody. Welcome in to the Basketball Bulletin. I'm Trevor Lane. Happy to have you all here. We're going to talk about that Knicks Spurs game, an epic performance by the New York Knicks. We'll talk a little bit about the Lakers, their center issues with DeAndre Ayton. We'll talk about the Thunder, the heel turn that we're seeing from them right now, embracing that villain role, and a whole lot more. Plus, we'll be taking your questions and comments. A lot of stuff for us to get into here. My guy, Donnie Freeman, will be along in just a moment. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Sunday. If you haven't done so yet, please make sure you do hit the subscribe button here for the Basketball Bulletin YouTube channel. In fact, I'm going to send this out on X right now. Let everybody know where we're at, and we'll be off and running here. That was a pretty epic performance. Maybe the Knicks' best win of the season. I was very impressed by what New York did out there today. This is the kind of statement win that we've been looking for, frankly, from my Lakers, trying to get that kind of victory, 114-89. And I thought there were moments where the Spurs showed that they could be a threat, that they could stick in this game, that they could find their way back into it potentially. There were a couple of nervous moments where the Knicks gave up some offensive rebounds off of missed free throws and things of that nature. But overall, this was, just an absolute clinic by the Knicks, and they snap an 11-game winning streak for the San Antonio Spurs. The Spurs have been playing incredible basketball, and the Knicks went out there and showed, like, hey, we are a contender in this league. Like, it shouldn't just be OKC that people are talking about, or Boston in whispered tones, or Cleveland, despite them dropping their last game to Detroit. The Knicks are saying, hey, we're here. We may not be the one seed like Detroit, but we've got the ability to turn in some phenomenal performances as well. Donnie, jumping in. How you doing, man?
Doing good. You?
Good. I love this time of year. Like I really enjoy the trade deadline and all the different rumors and things like that take place. But this is the time of year when we start to see teams switch into playoff mode. And it's not every night, but I thought the Knicks switched into playoff mode for this. They played like they had something to prove, and you could just feel the difference in NBA games when teams start to really lock in and turn it on. And so that I'm excited for more. Bring me more basketball like this, Donnie.
Yeah, it feels like we're seeing a few of these games with more higher intensity and things like that post trade deadline. And it feels like they're also letting them play a bit more too. And I think teams are trying to position themselves better in the standings and trying to win these more marquee matchups to test where they stand. And I thought this was a big time win for the Knicks today.
I thought the Knicks did such a phenomenal job defensively on the Spurs. Now, the Spurs shot 26% from three. Some of that is just variance. You hit a few more threes, and maybe that changes the tone of this game. But you look at the Knicks, they didn't shoot well from the free throw line. Did a nice job on the glass, 18 offensive rebounds for New York. And let's give Cat some credit. The man who's been under fire all season, 5 offensive boards. Did he have a big game scoring? No, 12 points, but 5 offensive boards. There was a big play in the fourth, too, where the ball was loose. He dove to knock the ball back out, saved the possession, turned into a Knicks 3. Mo Diawara did a great job hitting threes off the bench. He was 4 for 13, not the best percentage-wise, but hit some timely shots. I thought this was just a scrappy statement win by a Knicks team that said, hey, we know the Spurs are on an 11-game win streak, and that ends tonight. We're going to make sure we put a stop to this thing. The force that the Knicks played with was impressive. Coming out of this game, Donnie, I had the thought, it was inescapable. I have no idea who the hell is going to win the NBA championship this year. Like, the Thunder are still the favorites, but could the Knicks make a run? Sure, if the Knicks play the way they did today. Could the Spurs make a run? Yeah. The Pistons, why not? Unfortunately, the Celtics, Tatum's coming back at some point. That's happening. That could happen. The Cavs, I think, are a dangerous team. You look at the Nuggets in the Western Conference. Hell, the Nuggets and Wolves are playing today. That could wind up being a hell of a battle. I don't know who's coming out of this, and I think that's a great thing for the league.
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, obviously there are teams that are the favorites. Like, you've got to give them their respect. OKC, defending champions, all that stuff. But I really do feel like they set out to get as much parity as possible in the NBA over the last couple of seasons, and I think they've really done that. There is probably 5 or 6 teams I could see with a legitimate chance of winning it this season if things break their way. Obviously, that means injury, health, and good luck with that, of course. And maybe your matchup does have bad luck with that. Speaking of matchups, do you get favorable matchups? Those types of things always matter as well. And then also, when you get into it, how many of these players are going to be playoff risers or droppers? Those types of things are things that matter as well, too. So I really do like where we're at here. And I do think there's a lot of different teams that can potentially win. If I had to choose, frankly, I'm choosing the field, though. I'm not really taking anybody individually.
You're taking the field over Thunder. Let's say it's not the Thunder. If it is not, if we get for the, I believe it'd be the 8th year in a row. Let's say we get for the 8th year in a row a new champ this year. Who's winning it?
Oh, man. Again, like there's so many variables. To just throw one out there.
Yeah.
I kind of, this wasn't the best game. This isn't the right time to say this, but I kind of like San Antonio. I think they've got a really high ceiling, but I just wonder if with them, they've been through the fire enough. They still play a lot of young guys that just probably don't have the experience. And that matters a lot too. Sometimes you need to get there. You typically don't just automatically jump in and win a championship on one of your first runs into the playoffs as a new team. So that's where it's tricky. So if I'm going to move on from them,
the Knicks, lack of experience trips up the Spurs.
Yeah, that's my thing though. It's like Steph Castle's not really been there. Harper's not really been there. Some of the other young guys haven't really been there. I mean, shoot, Wemby hasn't really been there. Like they don't have a lot. Fox hasn't really been there all that much, even though he's a vet. I trust him, but I mean, he was in Sacramento. They weren't doing a damn thing. So it's just, there's not a lot of playoff experience on that roster. So.
I mean, the damn Celtics are sitting with the second best net rating in the NBA on the season. Like, go away.
I wanted to throw them out there, but I was hesitant because I don't know what they look like in a playoff setting, but they just have been so good. They far exceeded expectation this season, and they're about to get JT back. So I wonder about that too. Like they could very reasonably find themselves in another final if things break their way.
I think the top 4 in the East is so interesting. It's so interesting this year, especially now that the Cavs with James Harden, he's unlocked Jared Allen. I think that makes them a much more dangerous team. They start getting guys healthy. This is, like Cleveland is starting to play the way we thought they could. Like, I know they lost an OT, but that was without their stars, when they played Detroit. I do think, in fact, that the Cavs came out of it feeling really confident that they can beat the Pistons because they went to OT against Detroit without their stars, and the Pistons had Cade. Now Cade fouled out late in that game, but I really wonder, they're kind of my dark horse team here. Can the Cavs find that magic that they found at the beginning of last year? Through the first 3 quarters of the season last year, it fell apart in the playoffs. Do we see the inverse of that? If they catch fire at the right time, they could make it out of the East.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that could apply to a number of teams. But for Cleveland, I think they're interesting because a lot of their run potentially comes down to mostly 2 things: their health on Donovan, mostly because he has such a high workload. They're going to depend on him to put up 30 a night in the playoffs. It could get tough, right? Mobley, they're going to need durability from him, but Harden is he's a tricky one because he's had some really big playoff performances, but he's also had some really bad no-shows. So like I don't know. Like if that happens at the wrong time, that could spell the end for your run. I don't know. Like he's a very big variable there. And again, he's talked about like he's only had bad performances. That's not the case. He's had a lot of big games too. I mean, he had a big one last year too, but I think he followed that with a bad game. So it's just, I don't know, man. Like that's one thing to consider there. But certainly if they don't have a problem with that, if they get hot, they are able to get back to where they were towards the start of last season. Frankly, they should be a better team, right? They've got James Harden swapped in there for Garland. They should be a better team. So the ceiling is pretty high for them.
By the way, Darius Garland looking to make his debut tomorrow for the Clippers. That'll be interesting to see. Hey, while we're talking about James Harden, though, he does not play for the Atlanta Hawks. What are the odds that James Harden is getting his hands on one of the Magic City Hawks sweatshirts?
Somebody, I don't know who it was, and it was an aggregation account or something. I don't know if it was Full Court Pass or like Underdog or something. Oh my God, they had they had James Harden is signing a 1-day contract. Atlanta, and they had the full graphic, and it's like, I think the quote was, "It just felt right" or something like that.
It just felt right.
Oh my god, I can't find it right now.
That could be Centel, and I would totally fall for it.
I don't think it was. I checked one of those. If it was like a parody account, I don't think it was. This was something I saw like 2 days ago.
Dude, this is like the post here. This is the NBA's website.
Yeah, that's funny.
Is this crazy that the Hawks are doing this?
Yeah, probably. Hey, it is what it is. You got to take advantage where you can.
Right? Wow.
That's too funny.
Oh, James Harden is James Harden just requested a trade.
Yeah, he said, "Can I stay on the plane or stay here and not get on the plane?"
Yeah, I'm gonna stay in Atlanta now. I'm gonna stay in Atlanta. All right, let's so looking around the NBA right now, look, the contenders, we're gonna see teams starting to ramp up, trying to figure out how they're gonna actually make their playoff push. I don't have any of the bottom four teams in terms of the East playoff tier. I don't mean bottom four. I mean seeds 5 through 8. I don't have any of them actually making noise in the postseason. I think the top 4 in the East are good. The top 4 that will be making it through to the conference semifinals. Who gets through from there? I have no idea. In the West, which I think the Nuggets and Wolves showdown that we're going to see today, it's actually on right now, is going to be fascinating. I thought that game the other night between the Thunder and the Nuggets, and by the way, it's not great for the Nuggets that the Thunder sat SGA in overtime and still pulled away from Denver. But that felt like the precursor to an inevitable playoff meeting between the Nuggets and the Thunder. And it could wind up happening like in round 2 or something. And if the Nuggets stay in the 4 seed, that could happen. I can't wait to see that. We must will this into existence. I need Nuggets Thunder once again.
Yeah, those are always really good games every single time. I think, and they went to 7 last season too, right in the playoffs. Was that the second round as well, or was that
second round? Yep.
Yeah. See, I think that's always going to be a series that's 6 or 7 games, no matter what. So I think that would be one that we definitely should be hoping for. In terms of Minnesota and Denver's matchup today, yeah, it's another one that's a big game. But look at their point differential. By the way, it's the same. That's hilarious.
Wow,
it's the same.
It's
the same.
2 very similar quality teams too. They both of them have, I think, a high ceiling. As I have a little more faith in Denver. I know that Minnesota was the team to get all the way to the West Finals last year, but I think I have a little more faith in Denver than I do in Minnesota right now. Minnesota's just so inconsistent.
Yeah,
they have weird losses on their record. The Wolves do.
I mean, Denver kind of is too, though. They have true. Some of that where,
But the injuries make it easier to accept that.
Yeah.
To Denver. Minnesota has been remarkably healthy for like the last 2 seasons, where their starting 5 plays just a ton of games together. The Nuggets right now missing Aaron Gordon. That's certainly a loss for them, as well as Peyton Watson dealing with a hamstring issue. So this is not the full strength Denver Nuggets that we're seeing right now. By the way, Donnie, I continue to get people saying like, "Oh, Peyton Watson's going to be really available this summer." I think Denver moves. I think Denver moves Cam Johnson before letting go of Peyton Watson.
They should. They should. It just depends on how much they're willing to invest in this iteration of the team. In my opinion, you've got Jokic, who, if you call him the best player, second best player, whatever, he's one of those 2. I think he's the best for the record, but best player in the NBA. You should, in theory, spend as much money as possible on taxes, whatever it is, to put a team around him to where you can compete and try to win another championship in this window. He's already 30, 31. You only have probably a couple more 3-4 years or so of prime Jokic, right? That doesn't mean he's going to be bad, but he's going to obviously see some sort of decline. Probably his skill set's going to age great. Don't hear what I'm not saying, but you should probably invest in this window where he is in the heart of his prime, right? Instead of on the decline of the prime. And so I think they should.
Donnie, we just got a little bit of breaking news here. The Lakers just sent me their injury report.
LeBron's out.
There's one name on it. LeBron James, questionable for tonight.
Yeah, not surprising.
With his foot arthritis.
Yeah, they should have just put in parentheses old. Back to back.
DNP old.
DNP back to back old. Senior or junior? I always make that joke.
Well, they actually just they announced a few moments ago too that Bronny and Adu Thera were recalled from the South Bay Lakers.
It's kind of unfortunate they didn't get a chance to play in that garbage time last night.
Yeah, especially when it was just up. I mean, I know they played for South Bay, but it was just up north. They could have got some NBA bits. I talked about that the other day yesterday, I guess, on the pod for Lakers Nation. I think the Lakers need to invest more in Adu Thera. It doesn't mean like every night, but I'd like to see more often than not 5 to 10 minutes for him, just to give him a ramp into the postseason.
Yeah,
and I mean by post, I mean like summer. It's going to be a big summer for him. I'd like to see him have more of a sense of what NBA play is all about, because I think his development is so important for them.
Unfortunately, it's just such a hard thing to do because of the way JJ's rotations are. He's barely squeaking out 6 or 7 minutes a night for Vando the last few games. Yeah, Vando might as well be out of the rotation again at this point. Now, I'm not advocating for that, but that's kind of where it's trending, right? He's barely squeaking out minutes there. So unless you're just going to port those minutes directly to Adu, the way he is right now, I don't really see how he's going to find minutes for him, unless obviously guys stay out like Rui or whatever. But I would love to see it, though. I would love to see them give more burn to some of the younger guys just in general. That's one thing that's kind of been missing from this team, is that JJ doesn't seem like he really is all that invested in trying to let these young guys go out there and go through the growth pains that you have from developing. That's another thing. This team just doesn't have that. Whether it's Adu or anybody else that we're trying to develop, we're giving them minutes in the G League, but they need NBA minutes. They need time, and we don't have that opportunity.
But that was the whole right when JJ came on board. Remember, it was JJ or it was Dan Hurley? That whole thing, right? The whole thing was about developing a program. Right, a program that was going to involve young players coming up through the ranks and how important that was going to be. We haven't really seen a lot of that. Now, part of that is, he gave Dalton Connect opportunities, and Dalton Connect didn't do anything with it. So
he was good at first, and then he was bad.
Well, last year.
Last year. But Dalton's kind of a weird one because he's so damn old. Like these guys, Bronny, these guys are like 20, 21. Dalton's already 25. Or 24, 25. Like he's when you draft a guy like that, it's because you're expecting them to be ready to go now because they spent that extra time in college. Dalton looked like that at first, but then kind of just hasn't been that guy since. So
no, and that's part of it, right? It's not all like JJ needs to play some of the younger players in developing a program and all that. Some of that is he hasn't had a lot of guys that have really been worth playing. I just think for Adu Thera, there should be a concerted effort to get him on the floor. I'm not saying play him every single night. I'm not saying playing him all the time. But at this point, we know what the season is, and they've got another level I think they can still get to with their play. But we know they're not in that top tier of team. So the development of a young wing player is one of the most important things that you can accomplish this year. And I just like to see, a couple times a week, get the kid out there on the court for a shift. I don't think that's too tall of an ask at this stage.
No, it can be done. It just would require JJ to change his approach, his rotations up, the minute distribution and all that stuff. And he hasn't shown a willingness to do that all season long. Like he's already being more flexible. For the record, he started exclusively only playing 9 guys. And he's been trying to play more 10-man lineups.
Yeah.
And that's him being at his maximum flexibility because he's been very rigid with that type of stuff. And he has tried to give other players opportunities before. Adu is kind of a tricky one because he just was hurt going into the season, has a little bit of time where he's not hurt, then he gets hurt again. Now he's finally back after that, a couple more months. But I remember earlier in the season, he did try to give Bronny a couple times, a couple of opportunities, and Bronny looked like he didn't want to shoot the ball. So JJ was just like, nope, we're done with this experience. He did try to give Nick Smith some run, and there was a couple games where Nick was huge. I mean, he had like 20-point games. But then when the thing is that when these young guys start to show that they're young guys and they have a couple bad games, he's very quick to pull the plug. Like these guys need, that's my point, is these guys need time to make mistakes and grow and develop if you're going to be serious about developing, which I think every team needs to do in this current climate of the NBA. You need these cheap salaries that turn into rotation players for you. So as it pertains to Adu, I think there's some of that there, again, the injury stuff, but also it probably is just because of redundancy, if I'm being honest, with like a guy like Vando, where he's like, I already, like I said, he's already struggling, fighting uphill, trying to find minutes for Vando in the way that he likes to play, because he doesn't like to put Vando out there with DA or with Jackson. So he oftentimes will try to give him a small ball shift or in that, LeBron, Vando, whoever the hell is the center, but like four wings are out there type grouping. And Vando's been kind of brutal in those the last couple of games, but there's some redundancy there, right? And so I think that's the main thing kind of holding him back, is there's just not, in terms of JJ's eyes, not a lot of opportunity.
No, that's a fair point with Jared Vanderbilt. And if Vando's not getting on the floor much, and Vando's minutes were gone a couple games ago when he had that disastrous shift. He had the foul and then threw the ball away. And that
also,
was when
Vando got benched, by the way, in favor of Adu before Adu got hurt. Those two things happened at the same time. Adu was getting some run, and then he got hurt, and Vando was out of the rotation entirely.
Right. And then now Vando's back in the rotation. It could be an either or type situation, but you're right. Vando's minutes have gone down lately. I just think over the long haul, what's the most important thing? It's getting Adu some of those opportunities, especially for a guy who's supposed to be building a program and doing all of those things. But you also have to win games right now. I understand all of that. It's difficult, though, when you see other teams utilizing young players, even second-round picks, and you've got a guy who, again, has not been available for good chunks of the season due to injury. But when he is available, I'd like to see some opportunities come in there to at least get some experience. I'm not expecting him to have positive minutes. I'm not saying he's going to cure anything. No, he probably actively hurts your team while he's on the floor right now, just because that's where he's at in his progression. But I'd like to see Adu Thiero be a priority just to get onto the floor a number of times between now and the end of because you're not putting him on the floor in the playoffs. That's not happening. So put him on the floor a few times from now until the end of the season, get him experience at the NBA level. So he goes into the summer from a place of knowledge, from a place of, hey, now I've felt what it's like to play at the NBA level. I felt where I'm deficient, not just I played a handful of minutes and I'm not quite sure where I need to go here. I want him to be going into the summer with as much of an understanding of what he doesn't know. And I think that's going to be very important for him.
Yeah, for sure. Funny enough, tonight would be an opportunity if LeBron is out, which is kind of how we got on this topic. It looks like Rui is back, so there's that. But yeah, there should be an opportunity, right, to get him an opportunity on the floor. It's just, like I said, I think it requires JJ to really lean into that. And for one reason or another, he hasn't really been willing to do so. Maybe it's because his team is always fighting uphill in these dogfight close wins. Yeah. They're good. But all the damn blowout losses they've had, those should all turn into opportunities, to be fair. And some of them do, some of them don't.
He's a little slow to pull starters out of games.
Yeah, he is. He'll leave those guys in until like 4 minutes in the fourth quarter left. I'm like, bro, why are they even out here anymore? This is very clearly done. Sometimes we'll be down like 12, which is not insurmountable, but he'll just sub them in and like say, like, let me see if you got anything for like 2 more minutes. You're going to go on a run here? No? Okay, fine, whatever. We'll play garbage here for 2 minutes.
You mentioned Rui Hachimura is back. He's been out the last few games due to illness, so he is now back in action for this one tonight against Sacramento. What do you think? Last I looked, Lakers were like a 12.5 point favorite for this game. I'll double check it right now. Does LeBron play tonight? I know he's questionable. Yeah, still 12.5 points. Lakers favorite right now.
Does he play tonight?
Does he play?
I mean, I don't know that he needs to. He can take a break. What's the problem?
Yeah.
He didn't play much last game. It was like, 27, 28 minutes. But give him an opportunity to take a break.
This would be the opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
To get him a break.
For sure.
To get him a break.
I mean, you would love to get that same opportunity in this type of game with like Luka too. Just like come sit it. He may not want to do that because he's missed a lot of games already and the rewards and stuff like that. But it certainly wouldn't be, in my opinion, the worst thing to try to sit him tonight too. I mean, it's the Kings. If you can't win with you can win. We won a game like this earlier in the season with Austin out there backpacking. So
that's right.
Didn't he hit that game winner against the Kings actually? Was that the 51-point game winner or whatever?
He had a game winner against Minnesota. Did he get one against Sacramento as well?
He did something. I swear. Maybe it was the 50 points that he did or whatever against Sacramento.
Maybe.
But either way, Austin can backpack. I'm not worried about it.
All right, let's do let's talk about this. DeAndre Ayton. Donnie, I don't want to do this. I want to talk about how great DA is. I want to talk about how awesome he is. I want to talk about how he's proving everyone wrong, how he's taking advantage of the opportunity. But I have a theory. I have a theory about DeAndre Ayton. And you tell me how plausible you think this is. My theory about DeAndre Ayton is the player option really hurt DeAndre Ayton. The player option for next year at $8.1 million is the rope from The Dark Knight Rises. He needed to make the leap without the rope, without the safety.
What kind of reference is that, by the way?
What do you mean? That is a Batman reference. That is an
like so out of left
reference.
field. Like it just caught me. I was like, wait, what? That's the last thing I expected to be thinking about.
That is a phenomenal reference. That's a great movie.
Great movie.
It's a great movie. It is the player option is the rope. He needed to make the leap without the rope because right now, when the going is getting tough, DeAndre Ayton can say, man, I got $8.1 million coming next season, no matter what I do. That's awesome, right? He doesn't have to push. I think about what was the difference. Why is it that DeAndre Ayton, in a situation where he needed to focus on all of the little things, rebounding, setting screens, rolling hard to the basket, protecting the paint, all the Clint Capella things, as it were. Why is it that he's not been able to do that, despite the fact that he started the season doing that? Why is it that it's not sustained as compared to, say, Dwight Howard, who did those things, who completely shifted away from the offensive side of the game in his, I guess, second stint with the Lakers? Why is it that Dwight was able to do that? Aside from age and being deeper in their career, Dwight was truly back against the wall, didn't even have a guaranteed contract. It's do those things or you're out of the NBA. Dwight was making the leap without the rope. DeAndre Ayton has that player option rope tied around his waist. And so when the going got tough, he didn't need to keep doing those things. I think the player option hurt DeAndre. Someday it may work out and DeAndre Ayton does all the little things and puts together a complete season. But right now, that player option is actually holding him back.
I actually think the most important thing in that analogy is the age. You know, you said set it aside despite that. I think that is the most important thing though, because if DA was at that point where he had been teetering and trying for years and is on the verge of just flat out being out, then he probably would feel differently. Yeah, you're right. He does have security, and so he's comfortable with that. But I still think he could come out. It's like, for example, that means that next season, if he picks it up, he's going to be on his best behavior all year. For one, I don't think that's the case. Secondly, because that's just in his nature. Who he is, it's in his nature, right? And frankly, if you see a different DA, it would be short-lived. And the reason why is because his nature is to do the opposite. He is going to, if he's on his best behavior, for that year, he'll be on his best behavior to secure another contract, and then he'll revert back. Like, if that's the fear, it's going to be a long-term thing. But I think he could also still even if he doesn't have a great season next year, probably secure a biannual somewhere. Like he's still, regardless of the concerns with him motor wise, he's still talented enough.
Sure.
I think Dwight also had very real decline, and so there was multiple things there in terms of reality versus perception for him, and that he was struggling with and battling with. And Ayton, I think, has some of that too, where it's like, I'm a number 1 overall guy. I should command post touches, whatever it is. More things should be ran for me, despite the fact that I'm, playing with LeBron, Luka, and Austin. These guys are all very clearly like multiple times better than me on the offensive end of the court. But yeah, I think that some of that's there too. But for him, that could be the case. He may just feel comfortable. But that shouldn't be the case anyway, because going into this season, he was saying that he wanted to dispel the narrative around him, 1, and 2, he's coming off a $30 million deal.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be on an $8 million deal. And he's taking a significant cut. So is this just going to be the type of salary he's going to make from here on? Or for example, is like 8 going to wind up being the peak for him for the next 5 years or something like that? You need to show these things now. And you need to show that, like I was saying, he's going to fall back into old habits. You need to show for multiple years that you've changed your ways. That's another element to this too, is I don't know that anybody's going to buy it after just one good season where you're in a contract year. Contract year is like that. That's normal. A lot of guys go out there and do everything they can. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think that you need to show for multiple seasons that this isn't who you are in terms of your motor specifically. And I thought that, it's not even about his production so much for me. It's just purely energy, effort, hustle, these things. Like start of the game, just crazy glaring how he's just
God.
Like how does this guy do this? Like what are we doing?
The game like jogging 50% pace down the floor. Dude. The Warriors, and it was maybe one of the Lakers' best, or JJ called it the most complete games.
Yeah.
He started jogging like 50% down the floor and gave up a dunk on the Warriors' first bucket. Like in that moment, I just went, oh shit. Like that's like if that's the way you're playing the opening possession, that's a bad sign.
It just wasn't great.
No. Are we at a point now where, because DA is so talented, he's so talented. If he just plays with focuses on the things they needs to and plays hard every possession. I did think there were possessions though where like he got a small switched on him in the post and Luka just missed him and didn't give him the ball. Like that's, I'm sure it's not all DA. There's some there's some moments where the Lakers needed to get on the ball and missed him. But realistically, are they at a point where the hustle of Maxey would carry more value on the floor than DA? Like seriously, that may be where we're at.
Well, the thing is that if you're going to get the DA that's just not doing anything, he's just floating, then yes. Because why? Because at least you're going to get a guy like Maxey that is more versatile I think he's a better defensive player than Ayton is, regardless of Ayton's effort level.
Sure.
He's more versatile than him and all that stuff. And just purely the hustle. Yeah, sure. Why not? Right. One thing that really annoys me with Ayton, and Maxey may do this too, but I don't mind it as much because Ayton is a guy that's crying about touches or things like that. Maybe crying is too harsh of a word. Anyway, I don't like when he gets a squeaky wheel. Yeah, I don't like when he because for example, there was a play in the game yesterday. He gets a pick and roll. He rolls hard to the front of the rim, gets the ball, drop step, spin, leaves it short. Bro, just elevate. What are you doing all that for? Just go up. Like if that was Jackson, he's putting somebody in the basket.
Oh,
but
yeah.
Ayton has this tendency, and again, that's a hard comparison because Jackson's like the most athletic center in the NBA, or one of them. But like Ayton has this tendency to kind of shy away from contact. And I think that for him, that plus the lack of physicality, he's very, like I said, dude's built like David Robinson, just doesn't play at all like him. He's just very, very finesse based, I guess I should say. So I think those little things like that, if you got a harder worker in there, in this case, Maxey, but a harder worker, that is the most significant change I think you can make.
They're a minus 5.3 with DA on the floor. A much smaller sample size. Keep in mind, they're a plus 7.6 with Maxey on the floor.
Yeah.
Now, Maxey is playing a lot of garbage time minutes. We're not comparing apples to apples when we talk about that. I think we need to be clear about that.
Well, he
But
was so bad that he put Maxey in his spot last game.
yeah, Maxey took his shift.
That's crazy, dude. Like,
because he blew 3 defensive assignments in a row in the exact same way.
Yeah, like, come on. Like, that's the thing, though. Like, this guy just he can float out there, and it's just he's not doing anything.
Man, it's crazy, really, when we're seeing what's going on with him. It's like you're begging and pleading him to just go, man. Just do the stuff you need to do. It's really one of those funny situations where he wants to be able to score the basketball. You could see it out there, and he's very talented at doing that. The mid-range shot hasn't fallen in the last month or so, not the way it was to start the year, but he's so talented out there. He can score the basketball. It's great soft touch around the bucket. The Lakers need to do a better job getting him the basketball, but he's not in a position where he should be demanding touches as the gateway for all of the center stuff that needs to be, an every night thing, the rebounding, the shot blocking, all that sort of stuff. It's like he's using his offensive touches as the fee the Lakers have to pay in order to get the center play out of him, which is like a Shaq type thing. You got to feed the dog if he's going to protect the porch, that type of thing. But he's not Shaq, so you can't do that. You can't do that if you're DeAndre Ayton. When it's also the other way around, DA is saying, "Give me the post touches, and then I'll do the other stuff." The Lakers are saying, "Well, do the other stuff, and you're going to wind up getting the post touches." Like, I think the solution to DA's problem right now is DA. Go out there, play hard. Don't worry about your offensive touches, and the offensive touches will come just organically.
Yeah, for sure. I wish that was the case, but nah, he's a little bit he wants it to come the other way, right? He wants to get his and then you get to engage to DA. I continue to say that I just think it's so weird. I don't want this around my team personally, but I think it's so weird to have a guy that you have to hype up with antics on the side. I just don't. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand it. Like the shirt, the bottle, all this stuff. I'm sure there's other ways they're trying to hype him up. Like if you can't get up for the matchup, or if you can't look at the center across from you or whoever is over there, just you see yourself get back cut 5 times. You can't look at that and take that as a challenge and be competitive and bring your effort, then I think that's a problem. So,
Donnie, let's take a peek in here on Thunder and Wolves real quick. Check out Jonas Valanciunas here, and in a post Lou Dort leg trip world, let me know what you think about. What do we think about this right here? Keep an eye on
like a 2-piece or something.
Yeah, it was like, I don't want to just throw a name out there.
No, I don't know who it was. Chat, let us know. I don't remember that, but I do remember the situation. But yeah, I mean, for Bones, yeah, you gotta have the balls, man. You gotta stand on business.
So should this? First of all, I love that this chippiness is coming into the NBA.
It was Mark Williams.
Was it? Oh, that's right. It was. It was Mark Williams. Oh no,
he got him good.
Oh no. That's right. I even did a little breakdown. Like he slipped it and then threw the overhand. Oh, I love Jose Alvarado. He's awesome. This is the kind of stuff we're seeing in the NBA now. And I'm not saying I want to see dirty play, but I want to see teams that don't like each other. And you can see it in the way that they play. We saw it when the Nuggets played the Thunder. You can see those two teams don't like each other. These two teams don't like each other. And Valanciunas, a relatively new Denver Nugget. I mean, bam. I don't know if this turned into a flagrant or what this, but the referee's looking right at him. That's a little extracurricular activity there from Jonas. I like the chip. Donnie, this is not good for our Lakers, by the way, who are not a physical team. And as the game gets more physical, it gets actively worse for them. But I love this kind of physicality in the NBA.
Yeah, that's part of it too. It would be nice if the Lakers had more enforcers. They've got maybe 3 guys that are really going to get physical at all. If anything happens, like Smart, Vando has been an agitator sometimes. Hayes is unstable, so there's that. But everybody else,
did you say Jackson Hayes is unstable?
Yes, Jackson Hayes is unstable. I mean, the dude trucked the freaking mascot. He's unstable. Like I don't.
What was he thinking?
That was unprovoked. That's unstable. And then obviously we got trash talkers like Luka. He'll light your ears on fire. But yeah, the physicality is nice. I enjoy it. And like I said, I think that maybe we're starting to see more post trade deadline, and they're basically letting these guys play playoff basketball early. So that's cool.
The call of the void, and Jackson Hayes just leapt right into it. He was like, I'm taking this guy with me.
Yeah.
On the topic, the cheerleaders and everything. I'm just glad nobody actually got like hurt on that.
Yeah.
That could have been bad.
On that topic, for the record, you asked me about Maxey over DA. I'm at a point where I just want to see Jackson starting, if I'm being honest. Like I'm at that point now.
Isn't that right where they were last year though, to go into the playoffs?
Yeah,
and we saw that wasn't it.
Yeah. Well, I don't know that we did, because we played against the worst possible matchup
for Hayes.
Yeah, like for Hayes specifically. Like I don't know that we did, because if we match up with like Golden State, he's playable in that series.
Well, you're not going to see unless they move up in the state, they're not going to see Golden State.
Well, yeah, but they would have had to have moved on from that round
unless they see him in the play-in.
Yeah, that's okay. So let's just say maybe, I don't know that we did in terms of last season is my point, but I think that's where you need versatility. You need multiple looks. The Lakers didn't have that last season. At least they have that this year. So if you start with that and maybe go to double big with Kleber in there, sorry, Ayton, you're out of the rotation. Or you maybe swap in Ayton for 15 minutes a night, things like that, just so you have that coverage. That's different. But Hayes just fits better, and it's purely energy and hustle. And then being a release valve for Luka. Luka doesn't throw Ayton a lot of those passes. Sometimes he'll have like that seal or whatever, but it's partly because Luka prefers to throw that ball up to the rim.
Yeah.
And Ayton has games where he's a viable threat, but there's a lot of games where he catches it and he just comes down and tries to hook over guys or all this. Like, just go up. Like, just go up.
Your margin for error on that pass too is so much greater with Jackson Hayes than with Ayton.
Yeah, because he can catch it in a catch radius where nobody else can. So.
You throw it anywhere in the vicinity, and Hayes is going to go up and get it.
Yeah.
DA, if he's got to put forth an extra effort for it, he's going to say, "Nah, no thanks." In the wake of the Dort thing, I do love the physicality. I will say the difference with the Dort thing was stepping into Jokic's knee the way that he did.
Yeah,
I thought Dort's should have been a flagrant 1, not a flagrant 2. I love the chippiness, but and if you throw an elbow, that's if you seriously throw an elbow at a guy's head, like obviously that could be a significant injury. But like what Valanciunas did, I don't know. Like I don't think there was a big risk of significant injury there. Like I think that probably should be a flagrant the way he brought the elbow up like that, flagrant 1. But I'm for plays like that. If there's a play where it's where a significant injury like stepping into a guy's knee could occur, that's to me where I draw the line.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
All right, let's get into some. By the way, this was one of the things that we were that I wanted to talk about today. The Thunder, their heel turn here. I don't know. I've got WWE on the brain after the Elimination Chamber last night. The Thunder turning heel, kind of leaning into this. I thought the Thunder beating the Nuggets the other night was. It really, I think, set the stage for an NBA audience that wants to see the Thunder lose, and the Thunder doing some underhanded things, right, to the Nuggets that night. And again, the Nuggets are certainly not saints in this whole in the NBA, but the Thunder doing some underhanded things. We already know teams are frustrated when they play them because the amount of fouling they get away with, and then. After the Thunder do some underhanded things and Lou Dort does what Lou Dort does and all of that, them not getting their comeuppance, it's like that TV villain that you're just waiting. You're just waiting and wait. I think the Thunder are growing in this villain role, which naturally, by the way, occurs when you win a lot. Whether you play dirty or not, you naturally take on kind of a villain role around the NBA because people get tired of getting their asses kicked by you. But I'm kind of here for the Thunder embracing this heel role that it feels like they're growing into.
Yeah. That, like you said, it just naturally happens. How much of that is the Thunder as a whole or just like specific guys like Lou Dort? Because everybody hates that guy.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's some of it is just, Lou Dort.
Well, they've got very gritty guys over there, right? They've got guys that play hard. They're hard nosed. They do the job that needs to be done.
Thunder Logan Paul. Hey, he eliminated 3 people last night.
Yeah, I knew things were different for the Thunder when they brought Caruso in and he really helped to double down on that too, because he's also one of those guys that is gritty, hard nosed, doesn't mind being the villain out there, just doing what needs to be done, and he'll talk trash to you back too. So I think that they've really leaned into that, and that's been a big part of who they are now. And we're seeing teams try to adopt their play style as well.
Oh, a lot.
That's normal because when you win a chip, teams try to do that too, but we're seeing that as well.
The Pistons fouling more than anybody else in the NBA right now and saying we don't care because we're going to get away with a lot of shit out there because they're not going to call everything. And the Thunder get a pretty generous whistle in terms of the way they're allowed to defend. They don't shoot a lot of free throws, but except for SGA, of course. The SGA foul baiting is part of that conversation too, with the frustration with the Thunder. But also, I mean, I think there is appropriately like kind of a cloud of negativity that hangs over the Thunder going all the way back to their inception, because of the perception that they kind of stole their team, right? Like that was the Sonics. They were supposed to be in Seattle. And then despite all the talk about, oh, no, we're not going to leave Seattle. No, we're going to keep the team here. At the end of the day, they forced their way to Oklahoma City. I think there's just kind of that negativity that permeates that franchise. And now I don't mind them. Like, they're a great team. I don't mind them embracing that villain role, and I'm excited to see what that can look like come playoff time.
Yeah, for sure. I want to see more teams kind of playing like that, just personally. Not none of the dirty antics that we see from guys like Dort consistently, but I want to see more teams playing that way and embracing that. I like it.
Let's see. First round matchups will be held to advance from predicting 6 or 7 games to win, all from the West teams. Yeah, I mean, if we look at the West standings right now, let's say everything stays exactly the same. Let's say the play-in plays out exactly as is, and we just freeze everything right now. So that would mean OKC Golden State in round 1. If Steph plays, that's a 4-1 OKC win, I think. I respect Steph enough to say he gets them 1 game.
Yeah, it may also be a sweep, but yeah.
The 2-7, San Antonio Phoenix. I think San Antonio is better at all in the same ways. I think San Antonio is better at all the things that Phoenix is good at.
I still don't think that's a quick series, and maybe a 6 series, just because of the physicality.
A lot of history between those two teams too.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a tough series. Not like crazy hard. San Antonio could win it in 4 for all I know, but I think that is probably safer to say 5-6 games San Antonio's favor.
A 3-6 Lakers Rockets matchup. DeAndre Ayton is going to be in tears by the end of that series.
Yeah,
if he has to battle the bigs on Houston.
Yeah, I just don't know what JJ turns to if DA is unplayable in a series like that, because that's what you really got him for, is to match up with some of the other bigs in the NBA. And from here, all the other teams have centers better than him, basically. Like, it is what it is. So he's got to bring that fight. And that's why I said, if you don't look across from you and see, oh, I'm playing against Sengun tonight, I'm going to try to make sure that I give him my best effort, make him guard me, and I'm going to try my best to guard him as well. And you don't get motivated by that, then I think that's just a natural problem with your mindset personally.
Well, absolutely. I agree 100%. That's a huge problem with your mindset, that you don't go, man, I'm going up against that dude tonight, I better bring it. Yeah, that's a huge problem if that is not your mindset. I don't think that is his mindset. That said, I think it becomes a challenge where if you know you are going to lose the center matchup, which I think you would know going into that, do you do essentially what they tried to do last year?
Small
and zig while the other team is zagging, and hope that you can get a high enough volume and percentage from 3 to go smaller and have your advantage be your speed and play more small ball. It didn't work last year.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. That seems to be JJ's only real pivot.
Yep.
He doesn't have any other arrows in the quiver where he's like, I'm going to go with this. We're going to find a way to do that. It's like, nah, can we play big? No. Okay, let's go small. Let's go there. We'll zig while you zag, and that's it. So I wish there was more creativity, but I mean, if you get hot from three, right? Sure, anything's possible at that point. But they're one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. So I'd imagine they're going to do everything they can to try to limit that. And the key thing is that they're going to do it regardless, no matter who they play, but especially against a team like the Lakers, they are absolutely going to win on all of the margins. So for the Lakers, your margin is so small. You have no margin. You have to be perfect every game if you're going to win this. So I would just go in favor of Houston, because even if it's just the offensive rebounding, they're going to get 10 more than you every game. And they're going to get so many more shot attempts than you. It's not even going to be funny. So
the Lakers would have a better field goal percentage, but the Rockets would outshoot them by multiple attempts per game. I think the Lakers' top three players would be better than Houston's top three. It's close enough, but when we talk about Sengun and KD and LeBron, Luka, Austin,
sure,
if you were going to Amen Thompson, but after
the rest
that,
of the team's not even close. They've got like the five next best guys in the series.
Exactly, that's the problem that LA's got. So I think that would be a 6-game series.
Yeah.
What about, I think Denver, Minnesota as a first round match? If you're in the 4 or 5 right now in the West, like the 1-8 matchup, okay, whatever. The 2-7 matchup could be a bit of a battle, but I still think San Antonio, handles that. Even I think Houston would get by the Lakers from being realistic. The 4-5 matchup is the hell matchup in the West right now. That screams 7-game first round matchup.
Yeah. The thing is that 3 through 6 is separated by 2 games. There's a lot of opportunity for all of this to shake up a lot. And also if you come out of this series, we're going to play OKC in round 2, right? So that wouldn't be great as well. But I think this is probably a 7-game series currently constructed.
I agree. Yeah, I think it would be a 7-game series, and it would be. I think it would also be the most fun series.
Yeah, I could go either way on who to win. But like, imagine playing these teams and then saying, "God, another 7-game series next series."
It'd be a bit of a war of attrition. By the way, the Minnesota Timberwolves are on a 23-9 run in the second quarter.
Whew.
And make that 24 now. And they're only up 6. It's 46-40. And the score in the second quarter is 24-9 in favor of the Wolves.
Don't you love how this is truly a game of runs? Even more so now with the 3-point shot being so relevant. Teams will just rip off 15, 20 points easy in a span of just a couple minutes.
Yeah. I mean, a few stops, you turn that into transition threes, blink of an eye, and you're on a big run.
Yeah. I saw Phoenix do it in that game the Lakers lost. In like a 3-minute span, they put 12 or 13 points on the Lakers in that game.
Well, it helps when you throw the ball to the wrong team.
Helps when you shoot 53s and make 22 of them.
How much of last night's win against the Warriors was
hot as
just
hell?
3-point variance? Because the Warriors were like 4th percentile from 3 or something.
Yeah, that was a big part, like a huge part of that.
I thought that the Lakers played well, but it was also part of it was they hit their threes and the Warriors did not.
A lot of games boil down to that because of how important that shot is. A lot of them boil down to that, and that's what that game boiled down to.
It's a make or miss league.
Yeah, if both of those teams shot their averages, that's not a blowout, and our guys are playing probably crunch time minutes. If we're
that team did, even without Steph, that team did beat the Nuggets.
Yeah,
so
we were in a dogfight with that team a few weeks ago without Steph.
What about this comment? Said the Lakers missed on Mark Williams.
Yes.
What do you hindsight being 2020? Should they have allowed that trade to go through?
Yep.
Should have done it.
You give up more assets.
They don't have their 2031 first now.
Yeah. So you don't have that, but you also have your center for the future.
Yeah.
Like, I think he fits much better alongside Luka, which is why they targeted him than Ayton does. And you have your center for your future, and that's one less player. Because there's a good chance, because we know Ayton's not the center for the future, there's a good chance they're looking for a new center this summer, which is not the spot you want to be in. Right. There's a good chance they're looking for 3 guys this summer that are going to be starter caliber guys.
Mhm.
That's a lot of work to do. So I think that you would have had one of those guys locked down, and you'd have had this year to build chemistry with them.
Whatever they saw on that medical report had to be something significant. I did think they overpaid in the moment, but I think part of it too is now we know what we know about Dalton Knecht. It's been a year and he's done nothing in that year.
He would have been good in Charlotte, though, to be fair.
He might have been. I think he got hurt more than anybody else over that trade not going through.
Yeah, he fits into what they're doing right now, too. All offense, 100%. Just get out and run, light it up, shoot a bunch of 3. Oh, my God, he'd be so fun to watch on that team if he was actually a part of the rotation, because that team's good anyway. That team is really fun to watch.
Now, that was a swap, an unprotected first, a swap plus Knecht. And there's a world, Donnie, where that trade goes through and Dalton Knecht is averaging, I don't know, 13, 14 points a night in Charlotte this year. And people are talking about the Lakers made a mistake. There's a world where that could be happening.
Maybe. But I think Khan comes in and just, there goes Dalton.
That's true.
Yeah, like
how many minutes are really there for Dalton?
That's the thing. That's why I said if he's a part of the rotation right now, because I don't know if he would be, frankly, because he's not as explosive as some of the other guys they're playing big minutes to offensively. So I don't know if he's a big part of it. But at the end of last season, post deadline, he would have went over there and averaged 15 easily.
Knecht isn't even really worth the first anymore, so they should have made the trade. He's not even. I don't think you even get a second for him right now.
No, I don't know who it was. Somebody said they very clearly tried to trade him and were basically trying really hard, but nobody wanted him.
Yeah,
they couldn't get him off the roster.
They couldn't get. I mean, because they picked up the team option for next year at $4.2 million. Yeah. I don't blame them for doing it. It's only $4.2 million. You're like, well, why not? We'll see what happens with this guy. And now I think that's a negative value contract for next year. That's how bad he's been. God, the guy went from putting up 37 to not being worth $4.2 million. Yeah, my goodness.
Crazy. So, yeah, I think they should have done it, and they probably shot themselves in the foot by undoing it. But like you said, we don't know what was on the medical, and we never will know. That matters. Maybe there was something they saw. They didn't expect him to have more than a few years in the tank. I don't know what it was.
There is an
as far as this season, he's been great.
Yeah. Oh, Khan's been fantastic. Mark Williams has been pretty good for the Suns.
Mark
there is an element to this too, where how much did that hurt Rob Pelinka's reputation? Like, he was already known coming in as a general manager. Like, did he burn some bridges as an agent? That type of thing. Now he's got to be working with these general managers that he's been battling with for years. How is his relationship with all of them? There's probably an element where Rob's reputation took a hit by rescinding that trade.
Yeah, if I'm another team, I'm not trusting Rob's word at all. And it's unfortunate because that was something we were hearing about him very early in his tenure, is that he doesn't have the best relationships. People don't really trust him from his agent days. I'm not trusting a damn thing he says.
And he backed out of the Buddy Hield deal to go trade for.
Yeah, that's my point. Like, like we talked about that last time. I'm not trusting the damn thing that comes out of Rob's mouth. I don't know.
That's a problem. That's a problem when you're in a business where teams want to keep things quiet. Now, that said, they negotiated the Luka thing really quietly.
Yeah. Okay, but that's
was also meant they were getting Luka.
Like, come on. Like, who the hell wouldn't? You would never hear it. That would never leak. Even Magic, notorious leaker, wouldn't have leaked that.
Rob probably didn't even tell his wife about that.
Right. Like, you got to keep that on ice. Like, nobody can know about this. And that ain't the hardest thing to do if you're getting freaking Luka back. Like,
exactly. Exactly.
No, I don't know. I'm not trusting the damn thing that comes out of his mouth personally, which could be fuel for a bigger issue here.
MJ threw us a super chat. We appreciate that. So drafting Cohen Carr would give the Lakers another athletic young wing to develop with the Due Thero. You have the athletic wings to support Luka and AR. I will freely admit I cannot comment on that at all. I've watched very little college basketball at this point. I just have not had time for that because I'm so NBA focused. Once we start getting closer to the draft, I'll start digging into the college players a little bit more, but that's not really my focal point. I think it is interesting to see whether or not they ultimately keep their pick. They've wasted 2 picks in a row now, 17 picks. Right now, their pick would, I believe, be 21 if the draft were to happen today. I'll double check it, but could they wind up keeping it and selecting somebody? Sure, but you got to start hitting on some of these. It's part of the reason why they are in a talent deficit right now is because they've missed on their last couple of first-round picks. You simply can't do it. And today, it's such a big swing if you miss on a draft pick. And I'm not talking about a star, just a rotation player versus getting nothing. They've had 2 picks in a row where they got nothing. If they keep their pick, they must hit on it.
Yeah, the tricky thing with that is Carr is more of a attack closeouts guy, playmaker, hustler. He's 6'6", like 220. He's not really a shooter though. And so you're getting another guy that's not really able to
How many guys have we said that about?
Like you're optimistically hoping he can develop, but he's another one of those guys. In fact, he's kind of similar to Adu in that. So do you want to have 2 of those guys? I don't know. But another thing too is that you need to get these guys and develop them for a couple years. Like Adu is not a year away from being that guy that you want him to be. He's probably a couple years away, right? So you got to sit on these guys for a bit.
Donald said, in the NBA, first-round picks can sometimes be worse than players drafted much later. Yeah, that can happen. A lot of it depends on, and this is part of why you see more players that are focusing on getting to a specific team, because fit matters so much with these players.
Yeah.
That hurts.
That's true. It wouldn't have been a problem. You would have. But you'd also have less flexibility this summer because he was on the books for
you would have had to pay Mark
30
Williams.
million or whatever. What did he get from Phoenix? Whoops.
He didn't get a deal from Phoenix.
Oh, he didn't extend?
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, he would have expected to extend with the Lakers. In fact, you traded for him. You better extend him.
I mean, Phoenix traded for him this summer, but by that point, he's more of a distressed asset. They have to pay him this year. Yeah. Williams is heading for restricted free agency.
He's got a $8.8 million qualifying offer for next season.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. So yeah, you will have to pay him.
You will have to pay him.
And you will have to pay him in the summer where you've got all that money. He's going to see that and say, hey, give me 30.
Yeah, I mean, if the Lakers didn't, they probably would have given Williams a new deal. But if they, and maybe that's part of the calculation too. Did they know they were going to have to pay him? That what the expectation was going to be on a new deal was $20 million a year or something like that.
But wait, no, you can't do that because the Lakers backed out of that trade because of the medical.
No, I know, but I'm saying, was that part of their thinking though too? Like, hey, the medical's a little wonky, and we know this dude wants. Because I'm just saying that's another piece of information that we don't know. The Lakers may have been privy to. Hey, the medical's wonky. We also know he's demanding X amount of money. If this is the amount of money we have to pay him, maybe we're not willing to be forgiving of this being on the medical.
That's my point is that that's the story. Part of me wonders if they didn't just see the online backlash and were like, actually,
wait a second,
we're overpaying here. And can't, for whatever reason, that one wasn't able to be adjusted, but the other one was. This deadline weird. Can't adjust it and take one of those picks out or whatever.
The other one they did before the deadline, I think it came, but
it.
They should have had an opportunity. Yeah, it was that was weird that the other trade was able to be adjusted, and then the word was that the Lakers trade wasn't able to be adjusted. I know there's a reason for it, and I talked about it with Keith, but I can't recall what it was.
Yeah. So anyway. I wonder if that wasn't the argument there. It's like, man, we got to pay him. We gave up all this. Actually, can we just, we'll back out. Because the Hornets very clearly felt like there was not a problem there. But at the same time, I'm not trusting a damn thing coming out of the Hornets either.
No. Not after the Hornets said, we're so happy to have him back. And then the moment they could trade him, they sent him to Phoenix.
And what about Terry Rozier, too? Like, I'm not trusting a damn thing coming from the Hornets either.
Terry Rozier, we're so reluctant to trade you this fine, upstanding citizen. and then Miami's like, what investigation? What's happening?
What do you mean he's been investigated this entire time? They've been investigating him since his New Orleans days.
Oh man,
you guys knew about this? No comment.
and you didn't say anything?
No comment. I'm not trusting a thing from them.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know what happened.
Anyway, but could have kept Goodwin. Yeah, like obviously a path where they could have kept Jordan Goodwin would have been much preferred. But they ultimately chose Marcus Smart over him. They waived Goodwin in order to get there. I mean, at this point, if you could have just sent Connect to anybody for free, it would have been worth doing that.
Yeah, that's another thing.
By far.
You had to have had that opportunity in the summer to keep Goodwin, but because Connect didn't go into this, he hadn't gone into the season yet, showing that he's not good anymore.
He was awful in summer league.
Yeah, but
the Lakers told everybody his legs were tired.
Yeah, such BS.
He had a long day. That time, he had a big day.
Yeah,
we didn't bring the stroller with us. His legs were all tuckered out.
Come on. Like, there's no way. You had to have that opportunity. I think they were very reluctant to give up that second round pick. And the funny thing is, they wound up doing it anyway. So,
I mean, if it cost the second round pick, I don't know that it actually would have only cost the second.
Yeah, maybe that's
to move off of like Gabe Vincent or something. I think it would have cost a little more, and that's probably why.
Oh no, Gabe or not Gabe, Dalton in this case is the guy. I think, like I said, his value couldn't have been as low as it could.
No, I think could you have last summer just said, here, anyone want to take Dalton Connect? Somebody would have raised their hand.
Yeah,
this summer probably not.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you probably have an easier time because he's expiring, but yeah, I don't know.
How old is Dalton Connect? He is 35.
He might as well be.
Yeah, no, he is older than Jake LaRavia.
Yeah.
He's what is he, 25 right now?
He's 24. He's 25.
He's 24 still?
He's 25 in a month, so.
Oh God.
His birthday is in April, so he's 25 basically.
Oh, come on, Dalton. Come on, Dalton.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. We wanted to just jump on here. We had fun watching that Knicks Spurs game. Wanted to talk about that a little bit. Wanted to get into some of the different topics around the league. Thought we'd jump on here. I know we didn't get a show out yesterday. There wasn't a whole lot happening around the NBA. So we thought, you know what? It's March 1st. Let's kick off a new month. Go live for a little bit. We're going to try to do some more live shows here over the course of the month, especially as we get more playoff quality basketball. Maybe we'll try and do some things in some evenings, like after some of the night games wind down. It is Wolves 58, Nuggets 50 at halftime. In that one, that'll be one worth keeping an eye on. Of course, I'll be live over on Lakers Nation tonight for Lakers versus Kings. That's going to be coming up at 6:30 Pacific time. But for anybody that's jumping in and you have not subscribed yet to the channel, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications as well. We like being able to come here and talk about everything going on around the entire NBA. Of course, we get into some Laker stuff now and then. Just it's in our nature, but we get into a lot of different NBA topics here. We appreciate all of you for joining us here. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Donnie, this was fun. This was fun. Just jumping on here for a bit and jumping through. We got through a lot of topics today.
Yeah, we did. And always a blast. So, guys, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it.
Yep. Till next time, everybody. See ya and stay safe.